sexual and gender-based violence between year 2020 and 23. Sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria is a serious issue. A recent government special investigation panel on sexual and gender-based violence indicated that there were 210 cases of conflict-related sexual violence committed in recent times. This includes rape and forced marriages. In Nigeria alone, many men still beat their wives whenever an argument ensues. Instead of setting their intellectual capabilities in motion, they use physical force to quell the argument instead. Many men fear women that question their decision and pose as intellectual threat to them. For those men, such women are dissidents. Beating them is to prove to them that they are not in charge of themselves. Some men also beat their wives when they leave the house without approval, refuses to have sexual intercourse, or neglect of the children. Another reason GBV has continued is that many of the victims are quiet about it. 7 out of 10 cases will most likely go unreported because the victims have a poor attitudinal response to their sad plight. There are many reasons for this. Some women are fear breaking away from their abusive relationship will make them lonely. So the fear of being alone makes them endure the violence. Some women even blame themselves for the violence against them. The reason that it was them who moved the man into provocation, and it was only natural that they reacted that way. Besides, many women are economically incapacitated because they think they cannot survive without the economic contribution of their husband. Presently, the NSRC report shows that approximately 80 million Nigerian women and girls are victims of sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. And it is on this backdrop that I welcome you to this special edition of the program on rape, sexual and gender-based violence. Once again, my name is Yahya Muhammad, and joining us in the studio on this program this morning are distinguished personalities and stakeholders. And with me in the studio, well, I have Her Excellency, the First Lady, wife of the Executive Governor, Hajia Fatima Umar Babu, who is ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Hajia Titi Awuta. You are welcome to the program. I also have Barrister Mama Dantoho, Acting Director, Gender-Based Violence GBV Department, Minister of Justice, United States. Barrister, you are welcome to the program. We also have Ms. Pamela Doma, Assistant Secretary, Nigerian Association of Men and Women Journalists, NAWOJ, Niger State Chapter. Ms. Pamela, you are welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here.
Mr. David Keisa, Coordinator Child Protection Network, CSO, representing Raiwa Sexual Assault and Referral Center, SAC. Mr. David, welcome to the program. We also have SP Duelemi Olubumi, Officer in Charge Gender, GBP Department, Post Headquarters, Niger State. Madam, you are welcome. Also have Hajia Hadiza Mohammed Taji, Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative, RAPA. Hajia Hadiza, you're welcome to the program. And next to her is Barrister Mariam Bako, Principal Legal Officer in the Commission of National Human Rights Commission. Ms. Mariam, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning.
All right, let's quickly go to the program, but we need to, just shift a little. Let me start with the Honorable Commissioner. Yesterday, it was the International Women's Day. Honorable, can you just tell us in brief what are the plans, what really happened yesterday? And up to today, do we still have some things to do as far as the International Women's Day is concerned?
Good morning once again. Good morning, presenter. Good morning, listeners. Yesterday we had our International Women's Day in Niger State. The first activity was the health walk, where our First Lady was part of us. We took off from Mobile to Bafangura and about and back to the women's yesterday we also had a free medical outreach for those who were interested. There for them out.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. And let's just come back to the program profile. Listeners at home listening to us now, you can also join us much, much later on the program of 0903 And of course, you can call in and ask questions as related to, sexual and gender-based violence. We have a full house here, and whatever you want to know, you can actually call and, give us your question. Let's go to the program profile, and I would like to start with Mr. Steven Jia. Sorry, I would like to start with Mr. David K. He's the coordinator, Child Right Protection Network, a civil society organization representing Rayuwa Social and Power Center. Mr. Steven, can you quickly tell us what is sexual and gender-based violence and how prevalent it is currently?
I think the definition of sexual and gender-based violence is a situation where somebody is being physically or mentally, you know, being physically or mentally tortured because that person is in a weak state. You may be a child, you may be a woman, and we normally say that these people are vulnerable. So anybody that is vulnerable is he or she is being affected, either by physical violence or mental, emotional violence. That is sexual and gender-based violence.
All right, thank you very much. Just before we go, let me welcome Mrs. Awaya Haya, Public Relations Officer, Federation of International Women Lawyers Association, FIDA Niger State Chapter. Mrs. Awaya Haya, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, let me just go back to the Honorable Commissioner again, representing mention of unreported cases and stigmatization. These are most factors that actually hinder most of this program. Just before I come to you, let me ask Mrs. Hawa, Barrister Mamman Antoho, Acting Director from Minister of Justice. Barrister, there's fear of not being believed or even being blamed for being weak. It's also creating a dangerous culture of silence that prevents survivors from seeking justice. How do you think this can be addressed so that victims can really come forward to have something to hold on?
Good morning, viewers. What I feel can be done is awareness. Making people understand that they can feel free to come over to us, tell us what their problem is, and they will not be judged, and assistance will be rendered.
All right, thank you very much. You made mention of actually assistance.
Yes.
Yes. How do they get that assistance?
Like my department now in the ministry, although the ministry has several departments. We have Department of Public Prosecution, which usually handles physical assault, physical sexual assault cases. After being investigated by the police, we take over as the state. And with the passage of Adjana, that Criminal Administration of Justice law now, it has made things much easier for us, because the defense on the other side now can also said maybe his client was being molested by the police. They have this freedom of the moment somebody is apprehended, taken to police station. That's not the victim, that's the violator. He had the opportunity of remaining silent, telling the police that he's not going to say anything until he sees a lawyer. That privilege is being given to them. So trial within trial that usually delay rape cases is not more there. And for the Department of Gender and Domestic Violence, what we normally do is that people, at times we get harassed, at times people on their own come, based on their awareness. And when they come, we listen to them, take their complaint, and then call the other party that is involved to also hear from him. We try to mediate if it's the one that can be mediated. And for those ones that cannot be mediated, what we normally do is that we work with other stakeholders like FIDA and ensure that the victim of that violence gets justice for what has been done to them. And there is a law now that covers every type of violence you can think of. And that law provides protection for the victim, compensation, adequate compensation for the victim, and then punishment again for the violator. So it all depends on the nature of the offense. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Let me come back to Mrs. SP Olubumi, Officer in Charge Gender, Force Headquarters. Ms. Olubumi, some survivors said that they were discouraged from seeking justice because of the toxic attitude of some police officers towards gender-based violence, which manifested in humiliating lines of questioning and victim blaming, and most times descriptive police station often lack the space for privacy that survivors need to successfully make their statement. How true is this, and what can you say about this?
Thank you, our listeners at home. It's just you are not seeing us. As you are saying that, some people in the studio already, they are nodding their head, to say that is not true. And I can categorically say it is not true. The gender officers in all the divisions have been trained and they've been retrained on how to handle cases in relation to SGBV cases. So that could have been probably an issue of the past. It is not something that is practicable now. We don't practice that. We've gone beyond that. Police handle your case. You already know that your case needs to be handled with all seriousness. So we don't do that any longer. We don't add We don't stigmatize them again. We don't add more to their injury because we already know they passed through emotional trauma. We've been trained not to add to their trauma. So that is not what we do. We know all the processes involved in investigation and prosecution. They've been trained and they are still being trained up to today. So I will not align to that.
All right, from what you have just said, as a desk officer, can you quickly tell us what are the percentages of young ones aged between 15 and 24 years, having experienced violence by an intimate partner? Because normally you come across cases like this in the post headquarters. Can you briefly explain to us?
Yes, thank you, moderator. When we talk about the issue of SGBV, it's a big umbrella, and it's encompassing that rape is just a section of SGBV. Although it is most prevalent, it's the people are aware of. When we talk about SGBV, they always say, okay, it's rape. It's beyond that. So looking at that group, age 18 to 24, we have just that have gone through intimate partner violence. We have just a little percentage, but mostly is the minors that are mostly affected by this issue of rape, or we call it unlawful sexual intercourse with a child, by going by the Niger State Child Rights Act. So we have just few percentage, although probably it is happening and they do not report. But according to our report, we have just few percentage. Let me just put it on a scale of 10, let's say 2 on a scale of 10 that report cases of rape. But mostly the cases of rape we encounter or that are being reported are cases of minor between the age of 4 to like 10. That is most prevalent. So, well, according to the intimate partner violence, we have just a little number of people.
All right. Have you ever, gone as far as making some kind of sensitization to the public so that they will be able to know how they will address where to go and where to start?
Yes, it's something we have this synergy with Ministry of Women Affairs, with FIDA, with Human Rights, with the media houses. This is one of it we are doing right now. So there's this, everything is going on. So we've been going on to sensitize them that they need to speak out. In fact, we coin it to the level of see something, report something. We coined it to that level that when you see something, don't keep silent, don't die in silence. When you see something, report it so that the adequate and the necessary action will be taken. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let me quickly come back to Mrs. Awayahaya, the FIDA representative here and public relations officer. Rape has persisted at crisis level with most survivors denying justice. Rapists avoiding prosecution and hundreds of cases of rape going unreported due to pervasive corruption, stigma, and victim blaming. As a woman lawyer who wants to stand firmly behind other women's problems, what are your approaches to this kind of issues raised to get justice to survivors and perpetrators prosecuted accordingly?
Once again, good morning, listeners. Actually, dealing with rape cases is not easy from this side of the country because most of the victims and the perpetrators, they are not interested in prosecuting the matters. You go into rape cases with full force, you want to prosecute it, you want to make sure justice is served, but at the end of the day, even while the proceedings are going on in court, you find out that the victims, they are no longer interested in the matter. They either want to withdraw or they want settlement. So it's actually not easy, though we've been having sensitization programs and awareness. Our sensitization is not just grouping people as in keeping people in a group. We also do door-to-door sensitization, that is one-on-one sensitization. And what I mean by that is that when you are sensitizing people, it's not necessarily as in keeping people in a group. When you meet people, these people that are from these local areas, you talk to them about GBV cases, the significance of speaking out and the significance of seeking justice, because you try to tell them that it's not about them. theirs might be a minor thing, something that they can overlook, but you don't know what will happen to your neighbor. So we just try to encourage them to speak out. Whatever you do to seek for justice for the victim or some for them survivors, you can't force them. Even if you are in court and you need witnesses, they are the ones that will bring witnesses. And if they are not interested, you can't continue with the matter. Hence, we just encourage them to speak out, and they should not have any fear of any stigmatization or anything, even financial responsibility to handle it. And most of the times, we have some NGOs and even Women Affairs, Ministry of Justice that have empowerment programs once in a while. We encourage them that hence you agree with prosecute your matter. If there's any opportunity to empower you, we enroll you. Thank you.
All right, still with you. This is we have seen scenarios whereby at a certain level you've seen survivors, probably from the parents or whatever, trying to settle out of court simply because of one reason or the other. What do you think you can do to ameliorate this kind of thing so that they get proper justice?
Well, when a survivor wants settlement, I think it's just because of poverty, and you can't push further because most of them they don't even have transport to even come to court or come to wherever you are, and at times there is threat from their spouse or family members, so they just want what is it called, settlement to out of court to enable them improve their life, and forge ahead with their life. You cannot stop that. Else you just warn them that should in case this happen again, we are not going to take it lightly with you. You cannot force them, because even if you try to stop them, you won't see them again. They will never even talk to you again, even if something of that nature happens again. But you try to encourage them and still sensitize them, keep talking to them, just talk until when the Holy Spirit talks to them.
All right, thank you very much for that, response. Let me come back to Miss Pamela Duma from Nawaj. Miss Pamela, I want you to be more elaborate on this because this is coming from the media. As a woman in journalists and most times a mouthpiece of women in media, we are yet to see a kind of a strong advocacy as in an anti-SGV in the state, either in media platforms so as to educate and sensitize women and other victims and survivors on how to seek redress. What's your take on that?
Well, I would say maybe you will not come across it, but we've done advocacy visit to secondary school, and sometime last year we went around to the three senatorial zones where we were able to see women and we talk to them, we educate them on gender-based violence. Because to an extent, you see that some of them don't even understand what it is, just like the police woman side. They only see rape as a GBV case, but they don't know that even women, we as women, undergo gender-based violence in our homes, both emotionally and physically. So we were able to talk to some of them on the need to speak out and come out and talk. And we're able to talk to some of the women on hawking, because this is where they endanger our young girls at a very early age, sending them out on telling them that if you really want to hawk, it's better you do it in the front of your house than putting the whole sum of 500 naira granite, thereby exposing her to danger. And last year again, we had an advocacy visit where we were, it was actually not, but any opportunity we have, any small gathering we have, like we're at marking the breastfeeding week, we used the opportunity to talk about GBV there. Though that was not the intention, but since it was a gathering of women, we used the opportunity to talk about GBV. So I would say we've been doing much, even at the national level. There were cases like in Imo State where a father beat the baby because the baby was crying at night, and Nawaj took up the case, cried out, hit the drum, and the right people came into the cases. And
okay, how many cases were you able to reach out? because I want to tackle this with you as a woman in journalism. Are you able to tackle most of all these, some of all these cases of LGBT media sensitization? Because we are yet to see it on the street. And I want to ask, is there any synergy between award State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, so as to actually have one voice, and come out with a proper blueprint where this can be tackled?
Well, I would say for that, maybe we'll work on that. But for now, we really don't have
the
a particular yes. But as you are saying it now, I'm sure the commissioner is here, she's listening. So we'll go back and strategize and see how we'll come up with something good that will be played on all the media platforms, using our platform, since we all represent various media platforms, to see how we can hit the drum.
All right, thank you very much. Let me quickly come to Madam from Rafa. Can you tell us about the activities of Rafa as a mother? What are your responsibilities as far as LGBT is concerned?
Good morning once again. Rapa has been named its life. Most places are built to Rapa by women. But sometimes women also
violate some rules. So men run to Rapa sometimes for protection, and we give them that protection. So it used to be vice versa. Although men these days, the patient is not much, and some women, their mouths are not keeping quiet. If not, men, some of them behave like animals, and we pray with this type of program going on, they will be able to learn some lessons and come back to their senses of their old father. Because they don't beat women as they are beaten now. You beat a woman until she becomes unconscious. You have to take her to the hospital. Thank God, Raiwa is close to us. So we used to rush them to Raiwa, give them prescription. Though much about the drugs, sometimes we contribute to buy some drugs for them. Because if they
go back home, nobody is there to protect the drugs for them. In a case where you give a woman, you give her just 1,000 naira for 3 days for feeding. For God's sake, she has 5 children in front of her, together with her making
6, then you becoming 7, and then you expect it to be eating 3 square meals every day for 3 days. It's too hard. But we pray. We marry these days. We always keep a woman in front of us. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But the type of counseling is not given to men boys. And the boys need the counseling more than the women, because the woman is always together in the kitchen or at home with her mother. So she receives some training and undergo some lessons from the mother before getting married. But men are left alone. The woman will just cook the food, take the food to the husband. He will eat the food, leave the plates there. She has to pass the plates. She is the first to wake up in the morning and the last person to go back to bed. We say we are practicing the sunnah of the Prophet. When he was alive, he helped his wives in cooking, work, cleaning the house.
house jobs. But these days, the man will just wake up in the morning, take his bath, take
His breakfast, off and gone till I come back. And when he comes,
he expects to meet his men on the table, not minding what the mother is going through at his absence. So in Rapa, we protect the rights of the women. Whenever the cases are brought to Rapa, we fight
for their rights, we even take them to court. Some will refer them to a minister of justice for proper action. And then some, if it is the man that is too stubborn, we throw them to human rights where he can handle with proper care. And then where we have cases of forceful marriage, we contact women affairs so that we can use their safe homes to keep such women under control before we are able to bring the parents under the way we want.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Commissioner, I'm going to come back to you. But let me introduce Mrs. Anne Nwakuta. Is she well with us?
Okay.
Center Manager Raiwa Sexual Assault and Para Center. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, just before I come to you, let me ask Barrister Mariam Bafo, Principal Legal Officer, National Human Rights Commissioner Justice Chapter. Barrister, can you simply tell us at what point do you think survival can come to the commission and make complaint? And after the complaint, what are your possible responses? At what level do you follow up with the case?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, listeners, and good morning, everyone in the studio. It's actually a very interesting one that right now in Niger State, we have like more like a one-stop shop where all stakeholders have been able to come together. We now have a platform whereby all GBV cases are being handled. There's a synergy where all stakeholders have been able to create, and there's this platform where we have been working together. Now at the National Human Rights Commission, victims, we have this sensitization program we always carry out, and we always encourage victims to always come out and to come to us immediately, even at the point of the commission of the crime. Because of this synergy we have, what we do when we have cases reported to us of GBV, we usually, because it is of criminal nature, we usually report to the police immediately. And then if it has to do with rape, we encourage the police or the victims to immediately go to hospital, a government hospital where tests, the necessary medical tests can be carried out, so that the ingredients of this evidence will not be lost. Because it's very important, why most of these cases are not being prosecuted in court is due to lack of evidence. There is no how a rape case can be successfully prosecuted without due evidence, without valid, tangible medical evidence. So, at the point of commission of the crime, and even at the point of investigation, we follow up. We ensure that the police do the right thing, and even at the prosecution, we monitor cases of rape. So.
All right, let me quickly ask Mrs. Olubumi. You just heard what the human rights just said. Most cases doesn't even lack, proper, direction. Can you just elucidate on that?
Yeah. As she rightly said, there is a process. One case of rape, or whatever name you call it, now is being reported. The first thing is nobody needs to, assist or on the study halls. We already know that when case of rape is being reported, the first thing we do is to make sure the survivor is taken to the hospital for medical attention. That's the first thing. The survivor health is more paramount to us. So then after then, we can go on with our investigation by apprehending the offender now, the suspect. Then their statement of the suspect is taken under word of caution. Then we visit the scene of crime. So that medical report is very, very important, as rightly said. It helps in prosecution. So our work starts from when you reportage to medical attention, either to the police clinic as a sexual assault referral center, where we take our survivor to for medical attention, or the one headed by the center manager here, and the one at the neonatal hospital. So either of the two. Diseases that in one way or the other must have infect the survivors. So we do take both of them for medical attention. She understands. So, and we know that the medical report is very, very vital. It is important for prosecution and conviction. So we don't joke with that.
All right, so at what level did you charge them to court?
Then after investigation, within 48 hours, the suspect will be charged to court.
Okay, because we have seen scenarios or situations whereby even when you get to the court, we have an issue of prosecutors not even, coming to the court, and then thereby, you have all this unnecessary delayment of the process. So what do you think can be done in your own level?
The prosecutors are always in court, 247. The
Ministry of Justice, the judiciary can attest to that. All our prosecutors are always in court.
Okay, at what level does the feeder, come into the case?
Immediately the suspect has been charged to court, feeder take up from there.
Okay.
As soon as the suspect is charged to court, feeder take up from there.
All right, thank you very much. Let me quickly introduce Mrs. Mary Isa, Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, stroke GBB focal. She's a GBB focal person, Minister of Men Affairs and Social Development. You're welcome to the program. Is there any standard procedure being developed? I'm talking to the man from the Justice Ministry, probably about all to be presented at any move on that by your ministry, which is Ministry of Justice, in collaboration with Ministry of Education for effective prosecution of perpetrators of schools-related GBV cases.
usually
What usually happens is that any case that comes
comes up and is being reported to me, and then after investigation and
forwarded to us, we take over from there. Okay. So there's no way the violator of that offense can escape.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Let me ask Mrs. Mary Isa, please can you briefly tell us what are the causes of GBV?
There's a term for it. Not ego. I'm the man, and the man is always the head. That a man must not utter a word, and then she continues to die in silence. She'll just be there, nothing, and she'll be scared of reporting because the man is the head of the house. And we all know that in both major religions that we practice in Nigeria, culturally a man is the head. It cannot be disputed. The religion permits that a woman must be violated in any way. That is that. Right. Emotion. There are a lot of other reasons.
I want you to be more, try to be more elaborate on that so that the listeners will actually, I want them to get the real message. Because some of them, when this happens and they become victims, they doesn't even know where to start and where to go. So we have much of the things like that.
Fine. Going to where to go or what to do after being violated. Fine. That's a very good one. We have a lot of openings. You mentioned the introduction you made earlier on are all platforms that can be reported, through which any form of violence can be reported. Be it physical, sexual, emotional, torture, or psychological, any kind of violence. But then when you go to Ministry of Justice, if it is not for them, they'll quickly refer. If you come to Ministry of Women Affairs, if it's not for us, we refer immediately. It depends on the nature. When you go to any of the Rayuwa SACs, if it's not medical, they quickly refer. We have counselors there. So any of these, and we have another good thing is that we have 2 major platforms through which reportage can be made. One is called the GBV Stakeholders Forum. We have a body, Barrister Miriam mentioned it earlier on, that we are coordinated, we work together. This GBV Stakeholders Forum, most times we post there. We post there any case we have, and then you see that 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 stakeholders will come together. If anyone is not online, then we call the attention of such a one. Come, just yesterday as I called you, and then feeder. We work together and we tackle the case or the cases as they come, be it in any form. And one good thing again about this reportage is the fact that we have a national dashboard. We call it Situation Room. Through this national dashboard Situation Room, cases are being reported, uploaded for future implementation. Reason being that each state has a state situation room. And as cases are being uploaded, gender-based violence cases are being uploaded, is being seen at the national level. And as it is being seen, attention will be drawn to the various states. This is the most violated case this time around, either physical, sexual, whatsoever. Where does it happen? For example, if it happens at the back of government, for example, and then they will quickly check why, and why at night. It is being discovered that at the back of the government house is so dark. Then the next line of action will be to put lights there. It happened in Sokoto State and it reduced the case of violence in that area. No more at night and no more case of violence along that street. I just brought up that example now, so that when future policies are coming up, they'll be able to tackle what according to the reporting on the platform.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mary Lisa. Listener, you are still listening to a special program on sexual and gender-based violence coming to you live from 91.7 right here in Minna, Niger State. And we have all the stakeholders here representing various organizations. We have talked a lot about this topic, and of course, you have anything you want to say, you can call us at 0903-080-383. Just give us your name and where you're calling from. You ask questions, and of course, we'll be able to direct it to an appropriate person who is going to answer your question. Okay, let me come to Mrs. Anne. I don't know whether I get the name correctly. Yes. Onwa Buddha. Okay, let's look at the school-related gender-based violence occurring in schools, around schools, or as a result of school relationship, which is highly prevalent in some places I mentioned. As an expert, how do you think this can affect girl child in the school to guide against devastating consequences, for victims and survivors?
Thank you, moderator, and good morning to you. A very good morning to everyone. Before I take on that answer, I want to mention some GBV examples that are peculiar among us. The people, most times because of fear, do not know where to run to, and they don't even know they are GBV in question. Talking about denial of inheritance. A lot of women, widows, suffer from this. And because they don't know there's a voice out there to rescue them, they don't even know who to cry out to. It's a peculiar problem among the society. Talking of withholding earnings, maybe you send somebody to your farm to work, you promise the person a particular wage, and at the end you don't give the person the required wage both of you agreed on. It's a GBV case. And this, we know that it's very rampant. Talking about denial of inheritance or withholding of someone's property. Somebody that lost her husband will now come and claim the person's property. And because she's a woman, she feels, who do I run to? who will listen to me? And even when she goes to the community to speak, they will tell her to shut up, you're a woman. There's a voice. I want them all to know that there's a voice out there today. The GBV stakeholders are not resting at all. We are gathered together to help them. All we want them to do is to please put up the courage and speak out. Then we have cases of people that are being denied of food, of shelter, the basic needs. A lot of husbands, just like what they said, they deny their families of food and basic needs. And because they don't know who to run to, they keep wallowing in pains. So this is an avenue for them to know that the stakeholders here are not only dealing on rape cases or forced marriage, but all other forms of GBV. Or for you, a student that goes to school and suddenly your father asks you to drop out and get married, we are also here for you. We are the voice you need. All we encourage you today is to speak out. And for children, especially girls that has been violated, back to your questions, it has affected them so much in the sense that they tend to cling to themselves. Generally, basically victims of GBV, after such acts, they feel rejected. They feel the body is no longer their own. Social self-stigma takes over them. And social stigma steps in, as in, if I speak, how will the society react to this? And most times, cases of GBV, the person involved, that's the survivor involved, hardly speaks out because of self-stigma. Today, the voice, we are coming together to tell you that there is confidentiality when you speak to us. We are not going to let the whole world know about your case. Rather, the GBV stakeholders are here. We've got your back. And we are encouraging everyone involved. Cry out and speak to us and see what we'll do for you. This in school, it affects the children to a large extent. They no longer, academically, they don't perform well. They click to themselves, they're always moody. And the perpetrators, most times, they become vulnerable to the perpetrators because since they can't speak out, the perpetrators always gives them, there's this threat that's there. And so over and over again, the perpetrator keep having his way. Just because they feel, if I speak, they won't believe me. Or they might say it's my fault. Some claim that it's dressing, but that is totally out of it. The most cases we have are little children between the ages of 0 to 9 who wear pants and hijab. They don't have breasts, they don't have any assets that you can even look at. And these children keep getting violated. And because of that fear which the perpetrator has instilled in them, they don't speak out. They get to school, they are moody, they don't participate in class, they don't do any activities others are doing. And because of their silence, if the perpetrator has an STI, they get infected. Unwanted pregnancy steps in. And the issue now becomes something else. And maybe when unwanted pregnancy steps in, the parents get to know. And that's when they start running helter-skelter. How do you get pregnant? And with fear, she would now tell them who got her pregnant. And instead of the parents holding on to the child with so much love and affection, they end up beating these children blue-black, giving them marks all over. And that's the fear that that child has been having from the onset that has made the child refuse to speak. And probably they have mothers who are too busy and do not give them listening ear. There was a case that happened last year in Okigwe, FGC Okigwe. This girl has a group of friends that has been influenced and are all sexually active. And they are trying to lure her into becoming sexually active like them. Each time she tries to speak to the mother is always busy. It's either she comes back, she's very tired. Oh, Janet, can we speak tomorrow? I am extremely tired.
All right, Mrs. Ann, let me just pick a call here. Hello, 91.7. Okay, call back if you can. Can you continue, please?
Okay, so this child, each time she goes to the mother to speak to her about this, to learn more on sexual education from the mother is either she's on her laptop, pressing her laptop, she's busy with her work, or she's too tired.
Hello, good morning. Okay, let's pick a call here. Good morning, how are you? Hello? Yes, we can hear you.
Ambassador.
Yeah.
Money, please. I would like you people to create more awareness and orientation. Then secondly again, I would like the judiciary to upgrade the laws so that anybody who is caught into this act should be dealt with. But please, creation of awareness and orientation is the best. I would like you to upgrade it. Thanks for your patience.
All right, thank you very much, Ambassador. Please, but Justice, can you quickly respond to his question before we go back to Mr. Ann?
We already have existing laws. In fact, the verb law is the most. It encompasses everything you can think of. So please, you be rest assured, whoever is being violated should just speak out.
All right, let me come to Mr. Yisa. Survivor and NGOs interview on SGBV often say that stigma and victim blaming are key factors hindering the reporting of rape.
There is increase in reportage. People are now breaking the silence. People are now coming out to speak. Not only the parents, but even children themselves. They are able to, they have numbers of all the people here. That is one very powerful way of reaching us. The numbers are available. Sometimes some people call even in the night to say this is what is happening. So I think that the stigma is giving way, and people are talking. People are coming out to talk, but we still need to do more. Maybe to the villages.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be able to talk more on this very issue. So let's just take a very short break, and much later, we really have to, come back.
Prestige 91.7. Prestige 91.7. 91.7. Prestige 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 91.7.
All right, listeners, you're welcome back to the second round of this special program coming to you live from 91.7 right here in Mina, Niger State. And of course, we're talking on sexual, gender and based violence, and we have all the stakeholders right here in the studio with me. We have the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, representing Her Excellency, the wife of the Executive Governor of Niger State, Hajia Fatima Umar Bagu. And of course, also have other stakeholders right here in the studio with us. We have, Barrister Mamad Ansoho, Acting Director, GBV, Department Minister of Justice, Ms. Anne Onwakuda, Center Manager, Rayuwa Social Action and the Fire Center SAG. And also we have Ms. Pamela Duma, Assistant Secretary of NAWAJ, Ms. Hawaya Haya, Public Relations Officer, Federation of International Women Lawyers, FIDA. Mr. David K. Isa is also the civil society organization representing, Rayuwa Sexual Assault and Fire Center. and SP Duyele Miolubimi, sorry if I didn't get that name correctly. She's an officer in charge gender for Force Headquarters, Niger State. Hajia Hadiza Muhammad Daji, Women's Rights Advancement Protection of Clarity Rapper. Barrister Mariam Bako, Principal Legal Officer, National Human Rights Commission here in Niger State. And we are also joined by Barrister Sahura Abdul Karim. She's also a secretary of FIDA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to the second round of this program and we'll allow our listeners to make calls and ask questions so that we'll directly to an appropriate person to answer. Please, when the question is being asked, you try to listen so that we can get the rightful person to answer that question. And of course, I want you to be more, your explanations really get to the listeners so that that's the purpose of this program. Because most of the time you find survivors saying, okay, they have done all they could, but they can't get justice, so they prefer just being like that, which is not better. So we have seen cases like that. Honorable Commissioner, let me come back to you. As Honorable Commissioner, in your own view, do you think collaboration with other stakeholders or working together with partner or communities can effectively address GBV and implement quality programming to prevent, mitigate, and quick response?
Good morning once again. As a ministry that has a mandate to protect the rights of women, girls, and children and the vulnerable groups, we cannot do it alone as government. We really need these partners to work with. Without them, we cannot reach anywhere. So we need 100%, if not 100 plus. So they have been working with us. They have complemented our jobs. They have made so much impact in what we do, and we cannot do without them. I must say it here. But they've been wonderful. They've been working with us and doing all that they're supposed to do.
Okay. From your ministry, what are special arrangements, probably if survivor or let's say victim actually in this kind of issue? Is there any assistance? Because we have seen situations whereby they lack even the finances, just like somebody just mentioned here, where to go. When you have such issues, how do you really attend to it?
When we have such a victims, the first thing we do, like some of the speakers have rightly said, we have SAC centers. This is sexually assaulted referral centers. Before this administration, we have 3. This present administration is adding another 3. At the centers, the first thing is to take some health investigations to find out if these victims have injuries or have been infected. For example, we had 2 girls that were assaulted by, I think, 5 men in Silesia. So when we took these girls, we first took the perpetrators to the hospital, and we discovered 2 of them has HIV/AIDS. And that is very dangerous for these young girls because these girls are under 11. So what we did was to take these girls to the hospital, to the ASO center too, to be checked. The first time they were free, we were happy. We are going to take them back again after the window period to check them again. Apart from checking their health, we have counselors who counsel them. We counsel them in these SAC centers and encourage them. And at the end of the day, we rehabilitate them. Those who are old enough that we can empower, we empower them. We sit with them after the counseling. They tell us what they want to do for their life, because some of them must have dropped from school. Some have not been to school at all. So what we do is to counsel them on what they want to do, and we support them. Yes. We give them training and give them some support. Yes, for those who can go to school, we send them to school. We find out that most of in our orphanage, all our orphans are in school. Some are even in the university, and when they qualify, we
We've just sent the list to the head of service to give them appointments so that they can be self-reliable.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come back to Madam Rapper. What do you think are the roles our parents in this situation to actually guide against it or to reduce, even as it is in the increase now? What are the roles of parents?
Good morning once again. First of all, as a mother is always a teacher. And she's never been tired of teaching a child. Then the second teacher is the father. Then the society. Because peer groups matters a lot. They are very strong on our children. But starting from home, you need to teach peace before the children can grow up to be somebody that are reasonable and in the right direction. But in the house or the family where the father and the mother don't even sit down to communicate with each other, communication gap matters a lot. When you don't have communication between yourself and your wife, how do you expect your children to go outside the world to communicate? And that is why we try as much as possible in Rapper. We don't want marriages to be dissolved. We have our legal section, legal unit, and they have their own office. We have more than 10 lawyers there. Whenever we have cases that we have to take to court, we invite them in. But we dislike anything about divorce. We try as much as possible to keep the husband and the wife together, unless where we find out that it has become a trait to one of the lives. What do I mean by that? The husband will always want to be the head of the family. You don't listen to what the wife has to say. Your yes should always be yes, even when you are wrong. So whenever we have cases like this, being a teacher before, if you go into the classroom, check your children. You can be able to tell between the children that are from well-mannered homes, children from broken homes, or where they don't have peace in the homes. You can read it through their performances in the class. So in Rapper, we try as much as possible to call the two parties. Some men, it is just a little push they need. This thing you are doing is wrong. This is how it is supposed to be done. The same thing with the women. We ever have a case where the husband said he promised the father told him not to touch any woman in his life, most especially his wife. So she got advantage of that. Whenever they have little courage, she started beating the husband. We have to bring her to order. And that is why we involve the imams, the meangwas, the igwes, the title holders. We invite them to Rapper. Whenever we have such cases, we invite them to come in. We start together to solve many of our problems in Rapper. In fact, even as I'm speaking now, some people are sitting in Rapper solving some cases.
All right. The measures you are taking, is it really working out?
Oh, perfectly.
Okay.
Perfectly. Unless where we have problem that we don't want that woman to go back home to her husband's home, then we have to involve Minister of Women Affairs.
Okay, I was going to ask, at what level do you refer such cases and say, okay, go for Women Affairs?
Yes, we are like in weekends. We don't go to office on weekends unless it is necessary. And then where the wife has problem of going back home for the fear of her life, then we have to call the Minister of Women Affairs to take them to safe homes to keep for us until the following week. And then they provide accommodation, sometimes even the feeding to the persons that will refer to places like that. Then we involve a Minister of Justice, where we find out the person that has the case is still a civil servant. We use that to punish them where there is necessary actions to be taken.
All right.
And then we use the police office also.
All right.
Sometimes we keep some people behind the counters for at least 3 hours for them to come back to their senses before they can go back home.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly come to the human right. In all of this, at what point do we tend to say is violation of human rights?
Okay. So we have rules and we have the constitution and we have our various laws. The moment there's an ingredient of violation, then of course at that point we can say there's a violation of human rights. The moment one can be able to identify that this person's right has been, even if it's allegedly violated, at that point we can say that yes, there is a violation of one's fundamental human rights.
All right. Okay, let me just pick this call. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
I welcome your guest to the studio, guest and child in the studio.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
This MDR from Pabungu.
Okay, thank you very much.
I must commend your guest in the studio for a wonderful analysis given earlier on when the program started. I've been listening carefully. The one thing I need to, I know there on sensitization is going on a lot in most of our public schools and other places. But one thing I want them to know, or I want to bring to their notice is that they have to let them create a kind of area office in most of the areas so that at least people can easily report all this issue of gender-based violence, you understand? You know, for some women, you understand, to come out, probably for them to go to their main office, you understand? The kind of situation we find ourselves in nowadays, you understand? So people will be feeling it somehow to go and report these issues. But once they are having area offices, you understand, in most of our areas, you understand? So it will be very easy for all these women and all these issues, you understand, will be easily reported. That's one thing I just want to point out.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just allow the Honorable Commissioner to come in before I actually move the question to the appropriate person.
Okay. For the Ministry for Women Affairs, we have area offices. We have area office here in Mina. We have area office in Bidda, Sileja, in all these 3 senatorial zones. Kontagura, we also have one. So a lot of cases are being transferred from Kontagura, Sileja to the headquarters here. Those they cannot handle there, they bring them down. So we already have area offices. And if we have the support, we don't mind expanding. Again, we have social clubs in the schools, and we have some NGOs supporting us to sensitize students. Just recently, we had a sensitization for more than 10 schools in our multipurpose center. So a lot of sensitization is going on. And like I rightly said, a lot of reporting is also coming out, and we are taking things very serious.
All right.
We're not taking it lightly.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, please call back if you can. Okay, you are still listening to the special program on GBV, and we all have the stakeholders here. You can get back to us on 0903-003. You can actually make your call on your question, and of course, all the stakeholders are here to actually respond to that. And just before we take another call, let me come back to Mrs. Olubumi. Probably the SAC will, Ms. Anne would also respond to the question. Ms. Olubumi, activists and lawyers have often decried the poor quality of police investigation into rape cases. And in some cases, perpetrators bribe the police not to investigate their crimes. You have been receiving cases. Have you come across this issue, and to what extent did you think this can hinder process of prosecution perpetrators if found guilty? Please, can you be more open on that, please?
Yes, sincerely, I'm just smiling when you ask me because I don't know where people get this kind of information. I'm so surprised. We have them in the house here, the Ministry of the Judiciary, Ministry of Justice. All of them are here. They can attest to it. That I don't know. Like I said earlier, that feeders are here. They know we work hand in hand. We've been collaborating, synergizing on how the issue of SGBV will be brought to at least zero. So I don't want to agree with that, sir. It's not possible. We are doing our best. It might not be enough, but we are doing our best.
Okay. Okay, Miss Anne, can you quickly also say something? What's your take on that?
Okay, while the SAC Center attends to the mental and medical care of the survivor, we the synergy we have with the police is just a phone call away. Whatever division where the crime scene or the action, the incident took place, all I need to do is to call the DPO of that station. And immediately, they send an officer to SAC Center and they pick up the case from there. So I really don't know where this ugly story is coming from. But from my own point of view, the synergy between us has been and they always step, and they know when the SAC is involved, there is nothing like cutting off the case. They know that once SAC is involved, FIDA will come in. So they ensure all the necessary protocols are done.
All right. Okay, I still want to come back to Ms. Olubumi. Please, at what point a victim who is confronted with this problem, or the parents, where first is the first point of call? Let's say the police station. You get there, what do you do to report your case?
You report your case. The counter is if the division, because they are the closest to the community. So it's your first place of contact. And the division is there, and at every divisional headquarters, there is always a gender desk officer. So that is the first place of contact. You report there to the gender desk officer. They take your statement, and the next line of action is for them to take you for medical examination because your life is important.
Okay, who take care of the medical examination?
It's free.
Let me come in there.
Okay, because we have seen cases like that where parents have been asked for the survivors to pay for medical examination.
No.
Please, what do you do at that point? How do you let parents know it's free?
Let me come in there.
Okay, please come in.
For those that have heard about SAC and they have come, what we do, they know